Good morning. In today's lesson, we are going to study about demand forecasting. In demand forecasting, we'll be learning about what is demand forecasting, the importance of demand forecasting, what are the managerial uses of demand forecasting, what are the different levels of demand forecasting, what are the criteria for forecasting, and the methods of demand forecasting. Basically, demand forecasting is one of the most important functions of the managerial economics. Uh, Basically, it refers to the process of predicting the most likely future demand for a product or service. It is done by analyzing the past and the present market conditions. The objective is not only to predict the future sales but to understand what are the forces that influence the demand, and the managers use that understanding to make informed business decisions. Demand forecasting, it uses statistical analysis, market research, managerial judgment, and economic principles to estimate future demand levels. Since business decisions are made today for the future outcomes, manager need a reliable estimate of future demand to ensure effective planning and resource utilization. In today's competitive business environment, many of the firms operate under the conditions of uncertainty. These uncertainties are consumer preferences, technological developments, and market competitions, and government policies also. Sometimes the government policies also likely to change. So the demand forecasting helps organization to reduce these uncertainties. Now we will see the demand forecasting is basically it is used for it plays a crucial role in the following areas. One is if proper demand is forecasted for the coming future, then the production planning and scheduling of the product can be done in a better way, and the sales forecasting can also be done, and financial planning is easy, and budgeting for the product, what are the raw materials required, what are the machinery and product, what are the the land and everything, that budgeting can also be done properly, and the investment and expansion decisions can be done um, in using this demand forecasting. And once the demand forecast is done properly, then accordingly the human resources planning of the organization can also be done in a better way. And the final one is the capacity utilization, that is the planned the utilization, the proper utilization of the plan can be done when if the demand is forecasted properly, and it helps managers to make strategic decisions. Now, uh, we have learned about this demand forecasting. And now, what are the features of demand forecasting? First one is it is a scientific approach is used. It is an informed and well reasoned estimate based on the historical data. Okay, and here in this thing, market trends are can be identified, and they can be analyzed, and economic analysis can also be done. The other one is it is a future oriented. Mainly, the demand forecasting is done for predicting the future demand, than rather than analyzing the past performance. Okay. Now the third one is another feature is based on the historical information. Past sale records, consumer behavior patterns, and market trends provide the basically it provides the basis for the forecasting future demand. Now, the third one is the last one is a support managerial support managerial decisions. Forecasting provides a basis for production, pricing, marketing, inventory, and the investment decisions. Now, we will see what are the managerial uses. When we talk about the managerial use of demand forecasting, we can divide it into two parts. One is short-term business purposes, and the other one is a long-term business purposes. Earlier in the earlier videos also we have learned short-term production and long-run production. In the short-term productions, to variables, one or two variable inputs are changed, but in the long-run production, all the variables fixed as well as the variable inputs that are changed. Now we will see what are the managerial use. Okay, first one is it is used for the production planning. Managers determine the quantity of goods to produce based on the predicted demand. If accurate forecast is made, then it helps the organization to avoid overproduction, and it also prevents underproduction also, and maintain it is done. It is always necessary to maintain smooth operations. Now the last one is the purchase and inventory management. Raw materials and finished goods inventories must be maintained at the optimum levels in order to produce the better quantity. And is forecasting helps reduce in reducing storage cost, improve supply chain efficiency. Now the third one is the pricing decision. Knowledge of the expected demand assist firms to determine the appropriate pricing strategies and pricing strategies. Okay. Now the sales planning also there. One another managerial use. Sales managers use demand forecast to establish realistic sales goals and performance standards. The final one is it is used for the financial management also. It helps the company to plan the finances required for achieving the required predicted production and the end targets. Okay. Then the company will be able to raise the required finance well in advance. Okay, at the reasonable interest. Now we will see what are the long run managerial uses. One is the business planning. It helps to plan expansion of the existing unit or a new production unit. It when the demand is forecasted. When long run, if mean it, what does it mean long run? The demand is forecasted for another 5 years to 10 years. Then in that case, when the forecast is made for another 5 to 10 years, then how can it help the managers to produce the required quantity in the optimal manner? The first one is a business planning. It helps to plan the expansion of existing unit, or they can start a new unit also. And capital budgeting of a firm is based on the long run demand forecasting. The second one is a financial planning. It helps to plan long run financial requirements and invest program. This can be done by floating shares and debentures in the open market. Then the other one is a capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is a process that businesses uses to evaluate and select large and long investments. The decision depends on the demand forecast. Now the another use is manpower for planning. Long-term performance assist in recruitment planning. Employee train when bulk quantities. So another 4-5 years or 10 years. Suppose if the required quantity is reduced, how much manpower is required? how to build up the employees, how the skill can be developed. That also can be done with the help of this. And the another major point is the industry coordination. Demand forecast of a particular product becomes the basis for demand forecast for another related product. That means, suppose if the demand forecast for cotton textile industry, supply information, supply that gives information to the most likely demand for textile, machinery, color, and dye stuff industry. And the last one is operational stability. Fluctuations in the production causes ups and down in the business. Okay, which which affects the smooth functioning of the firm. Demand forecasting reduces production uncertainties and helps in stabilizing the activities of the firm. Now, now we will see what are the levels of demand forecasting. At what are the levels in which the demand forecasting can be done? That is micro firm level forecasting, industry level forecasting, and macro level forecasting. Then what is micro level forecasting? It refers to the forecasted demand of a specific firm's production or service. It is related to a particular firm or organization. Take the example of a smartphone company. It is forecasting sales of its next mobile phone model. And industry level forecasting, which implies it estimates the total demand for the product produced by the all firms within an industry. Suppose if it is a smartphone industry, there are so many, you can say, manufacturers are there in a particular industry. Then we can see the industry, that industry, the consists of constituting all the manufacturers, no, they will estimate the total demand for the product produced by all firms within the industry. And the last one is macro level. That is, it is forecasting. It estimates demand at the national or economy-wide level. It relies on macroeconomic variables such as national income, employment levels, aggregate demand, and population growth. Now, now we will see what are the criteria for demand forecasting. We have seen the demand forecasting is the prediction of the most likely demand for a product or services. Then we will see what are the criteria. First one is the accuracy. Accuracy is one of the most important requirement. Now, second one is simplicity. Forecasting methods should be easy to understand and implement. Complex model may create confusion and reduce practical usefulness. And the other one is the durability. The relationship between the demand and the influencing factors should remain reasonably stable over time. The last one is of flexibility. Flexibility. Um, The flexibility means forecasting system should adapt to changing economic and marketing conditions. Okay, see, during the operations, whether it is a short term demand forecasting or the long run, but the economic conditions and some of the factor parameters of the government policies may vary, but accordingly the demand forecasting can be done. The demand forecasting can also be done accordingly. Okay, but that's why it should have the flexibility, but it should not be a hard and fast thing. Once the demand is forecasted and decided, it will not change. But often don't know, in once in 3 months or 6 months, no, that has to be reviewed, and depending upon the marketing conditions, the proper demand forecasting is done. The last one is the availability of data. immediate availability of the required data is very much essential for businesses. It should be made available on an up-to-date basis. There should be scope for making changes in the demand relationship as and when it occurs. Now, what are the different methods of demand forecasting? One is survey method, and the other one is a statistical method. But in survey method, it is again categorized into different levels. One is consumer interview method, that is the survey of the buyer's intention through questionnaire, and the collective opinion method, expert opinion method, and end use method. The main statistical method that are used for the demand forecasting are trend projection method and the economic indicators. We will study in detail about the methods of demand forecasting in the next lecture. Thank you.